All right, this is my review for Bugonia. All right, so I was gonna wait a couple of days to really like let this movie settle in my brain and then review it. But after one day, or like let's say 12 hours since I saw it last night, um, it's not even that I need a long time. I think I was trying to give myself time because I wanted to. I don't know if I wanted to be nice or I wanted to what, but I'm just gotta be honest. Like I enjoyed my experience with this film. I did, but I wouldn't say it's a good movie. Like I wouldn't tell anyone, "Oh, go check it out. It's a good movie." I wouldn't tell anyone that. I would say if you want to go watch a movie where you don't know what to expect and you're gonna kind of be like on the edge a bit, and you're just not even on really on the edge, just really like a kind of bewildered and just like want to watch a movie and you like just don't know what's gonna happen, watch this. But I wouldn't really say like it's a good movie, and the only reason I'll say that is because it it kind of puts you in a place where it makes you like think it's gonna be better than it is. You know what I mean? And when I say that because there's a lot of themes that the movie's playing around with, and especially with some of the imagery it does to make you kind of think about art is subjective, of course. But when you watch it, the way some of these themes are presented, it brings up a lot of different type of ideas that you think are going to be built upon, and they're not built upon. It's just like, here's an idea, and then here's another idea, here's another idea, and then it's just like there's nothing else beyond idea. You know what I mean? Like you're using your brain to kind of try to get more from the movie than what it's actually really giving you. But like I said, I did enjoy the film. I enjoyed it. What I would say is if you don't see this movie, you're not really missing much. The performances are great, but the performances alone are not worth going to see the movie for, in my opinion. I love Emma Stone, and I love, I want to say I love the guy actor. I'm forgetting his name, but I love Emma Stone. I do think she's awesome. She's part of the reason I actually ended up went to see this movie was pretty much for her. But and I knew that she was going to perform well. But it's just she's performed great in a movie that I think could have tied itself up way better. And it's interesting. I'm actually doing pretty good. I thought I needed more time, but now I'm talking about it, I'm actually realizing like I did have some thoughts on this. The ending. Here's the thing. My theater at the end of this movie was completely silent. It was like you could hear a pin drop. Everyone was just like, okay, like it was like almost like unimpressed. Like okay, like it's because I feel like this movie. You know, I want to say it's not a bad movie. I wouldn't really. I don't know. It depends the type of person if I would recommend it or not. But I would say if you just want an interesting experience, you could check it out. For that, just an interesting experience. But it just doesn't really feel like a full meal. Like this movie feels like I ate something that was really good, but it was a little undercooked or overcooked. Or I would say more overcooked than anything. Like it's like this film is in love with its ideas, and it's so in love with its ideas that it just says, here's this idea, and that's all you need. You know what I mean? Where I understand sometimes a film could give you an idea and say, hey, you should try to interpret it in the way that you think. But I feel like the way this film was presented, the way it gave us a lot of things, they should have, especially when you give a certain, especially when you reveal certain things, that's like, you should expand upon that a little bit more. You know what I mean? And the movie is not, the movie isn't a really, I don't think the movie is truly a long movie, but it does feel long in certain parts. I think it does have a little bit of pacing issues, I would say. But as far as like just sometimes some of these characters do certain things that are just so outlandish that like, I mean, like, I'm not spoiling anything. I'm just saying like there's a point where a character that this character already knows not to trust, which is Emma Stone's character. He already knows he doesn't trust her, but then he listens to her towards the end of the film, and he does something that's so catastrophic to just like his life in general. He does something, and I'm like, why would you even do that? Why would you even believe exactly what she's saying if you already don't believe her? You already believe something of her in your core, regardless of what she says, but the truth is you don't think that she's truthful, but you're gonna believe her in this heat of the moment and do this heinous act to someone you love, is what I'll say. And it's just like, I can't believe that you do that, and like you're like, it's just there's a lot of very questionable decisions some of these characters make that kind of take me out, and I'm like, why do you like it? Doesn't even, you know, it doesn't. It's just interesting, and then the way some of these characters are taken out I feel like is unearned in some ways. Obviously, nothing is perfect and things will happen, but it's just like there's one character that I felt like his character made sense the way he went out, because he was already talking about feeling sad and different things like that, and like um all I'll say is that one of the characters, they believe that they're dealing with someone who can basically manipulate them sexually. So he castrates him and his cousin, because he. But the thing is, sometimes stuff like that can have side effects. Maybe it can make you have suicidal thoughts. Maybe it can make you feel sad. That's all I will say about that. But what I'm saying is that's why that part did make a bit of sense to me. And other than that, like I said, the performance is great. It's just that, and the ending. Here's the thing. People might see this movie and have a problem with the ending. I actually don't have a problem with the ending, and it's just it's the ending is just, I don't have a problem with it. I just feel like if you're gonna end that way, then give us something else after. But I guess the ending is that is it. If that's the ending, that's the end. I just feel like if you're gonna end that way, then I just feel like the ending wasn't earned. I feel like that particular ending was not earned to me. And the reason I feel like is because it opens up such a can of worms, because I'm not gonna spoil anything. All I'm saying is this. Just a idea presented to people in most movies is that humans are bad or humans are good. That's the idea anyone could think about, whether we're bad or whether we're good. Obviously, there's always going to be good and bad in the world. And then here lies the question: if there's good and bad in the world, and that's the idea you're playing with in the film, and all I'm gonna say is the way this film ends. If you're gonna play with the idea so much and give us that type of ending, then you should have done something a little bit more to show a little bit more both sides, and then just have us stick with these characters. Because if these characters are gonna be causing the end of this movie, is what I will say, then you should give us a little bit more, you know what I mean? And also, it's not even that I think these characters are really bad, honestly. Especially if you see the they were bad. One of them was basically like I don't want to say, but one of them basically is a really bad guy. But the point is, especially when you find out what he's been doing to other people. But the point I'm going to say is this. There's something the company, I don't want to spoil anything, but there's something, it's hard not to spoil stuff. There's something that one of the characters' his mom dealing with a treatment or whatever, and there's a big company, you know, she's sick, and it's basically, it seems like the company's full. I feel like there's no real comeuppance for that company. And I feel like if you're going to bring in that idea of them realizing the wrongdoing and different things like that, and like, I feel like this should have been something a little bit bigger. If you're going to delve into that a little bit more, open it up a little bit more, show more of how that actually destroys certain people. You know what I mean? Like when these are people's lives, you know, sometimes corporations may do things and it destroys someone so much to the core, if they lose someone, different things like that in that way, and feeling so helpless and they can't do anything, that it could drive them down this real type of path. You know what I mean? Or a fake path, whether you believe his story or not. But the point I'm trying to make is that there was another part of the story that you could have tackled that I think would have been really interesting and kind of helped maybe with the decision you had towards the end. I don't know. But I just felt ultimately, you know, this is what I'll say. Now I'm talking about it more. I would say this is a good movie. It is a good movie. It's funny, I can't even say that. I just can't say it's a good movie because I don't feel like when I was done, my experience was like, it's like when I pieced all the pieces together at the end of the movie, when I was walking out, I just felt like I just watched a whole bunch of pieces put together, and I wasn't fulfilled. So I can't, as much as I like to, there's a lot of elements that are good in this movie. If I had to give it out of 5 stars, if I had to, I would give this, a solid 2 out of 5. And it's interesting because I want to give it a 3 out of 5. It's like a good film, but it just like it makes you feel like you're watching the movie and you're feeling like you're riding with it. But what it does with all the ideas it presents is almost basically nothing. So it's like I said, it's like you're eating something and it's over or undercooked, and it's like you didn't even finish the meal. So like, was that a good burger? No, it wasn't a good burger. That's how I'll finish this review. It wasn't a good burger, but it looked so nice. The burger looked so nice. The performances were so good. You know, they even put the little bit of fire torch on the bun a little bit, made it a little bit. They made it look nice. And he took that first bite and he was like, I'm not really satisfied. That's how I feel. And like I said, I think some people will love this movie. I can see people loving it for sure, especially with that ending. And it's interesting because I'm the type of person where I want that ending sometimes. So even though I'm a half glass full kind of guy, sometimes I want that ending. And movies never give it to me. And this movie gives it to me. And it's like, I should love this movie because of this ending. Because it's like literally like, all I'm gonna say is this. I'm not gonna spoil the movie The Eternals with Marvel that came out a long time ago. But in the movie Eternals, all I'm gonna say is what I wanted to happen at the end of Eternals. I wanted the world to explode at the end of Eternals. That's what I wanted. And I wanted it to zoom out and then say, oh, this is on a different Earth in an alternate reality. That was my hypothesis. I wanted us to just be on a whole different Earth. Don't tell us. And explode it. That's the same thing I wanted for Fantastic Four. The new Fantastic Four, I wanted that whole entire world to get destroyed by Galactus. And then it ends with Reed and the Fantastic Four on a ship coming to our universe. That's what I wanted, because movies never do that. And I just thought it'd be so interesting if the story shows that they really lose the whole planet. And I'm not saying that's what happens in this movie, but I'm just saying that something similar to that idea is happening in this movie, and I should love it because of it. But what I realized after seeing it is that the idea alone of doing that does not make a movie great. It's the everything coming towards it, you know what I mean? So like, and Fantastic Four, if they ended that way, that probably would still been a great movie because the way the story was, because the way they gave you a lot to think about and deal with that actually almost happening. So it's not just the idea itself that can make a movie great. It's the execution. I think here the execution was a little bit lackluster at certain points. Certain times I feel like I was watching these great performances and stuff, but like I said, it kind of tapped on the bit of greatness, but it didn't give me exactly. I just didn't really feel fulfilled. But check it out. Maybe you'll enjoy it. Bugonia, Emma Stone. Check it out. And it's Dejo Notre Dame. Spread love and light. Take care, and let's sign off.